Hi everyone, Jamie here with Sweet Pickins. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to my kitchen. So let's talk about cakes. So I don't make a ton of cakes, but when I do, they're usually a Bundt cake. So I have pre-made this cake. It is a strawberry cake. It is all cooled. I did it in my vintage Bundt pan. So I am going to talk to you guys. Not everybody loves frosting, so I'm going to show you guys an alternative to your cakes. So in the description box below, I will put the strawberry cake recipe down there. I just didn't want to bring you guys along to make the cake and then bake the cake and then have to let it cool and all the things. So I jumped ahead and made the cake. So the recipe will be, like I said, in the description box below so that you guys have a strawberry recipe for your Bundt cake or any kind of cake this will work for. I just love the look of a Bundt cake. And then I put it in my fluted pie pan, actually. This is a ceramic fluted pie pan, and it actually works so good. It's like the perfect size. So I'm going to show you guys a very, very, very simple way to do a drizzle is what we're going to do. We're going to do a drizzle today and not do a really heavy presence of a, buttercream frosting, or you can either drizzle that on or put that on, or you can smother it on. It tends to be a little heavy. So what a drizzle is going to be is it's going to give you the yummy taste, texture, really moisten your cake. It does help moisten your cake, and it's not going to be overpowering. So let me show you guys how I'm going to do this. Now, this recipe I do for most of my cakes like this, except for lemon. When I do a drizzle on my lemons, I add lemon juice into it. But if I'm doing a vanilla, I do it the exact same way. If I'm doing a butter pecan, same exact way. So that's kind of what I do. I will do a drizzle. I don't always do a frosting. Not everyone loves frosting. Very simple. So let's set our cake aside. Now I'm using just a 4-cup mixing dish. It's fine. You can use a bowl. You could use whatever you want. So you're going to just need 3 elements. Now you're going to need powdered sugar, which I have my powdered sugar in my mason jar, vanilla, and I do love this vanilla. I do make my own vanilla, but when I am out of my own vanilla, this is the Kirkland vanilla, and I love it. I think it, for the price, I think it's excellent. Then the milk. So a lot of you guys always ask about my milk jugs. So let's talk about that really quick in this video. So yes, these are milk jugs. These are quart milk jugs. No, I said that wrong. 1/2 gallon milk jugs. And so what I do, I'm trying to eliminate plastic from our home as much as possible, because we're learning about all the plastics that are, in our body and that are coming out of the containers. We're getting all our stuff in, like milk. Milk comes in plastic, and orange juice comes in plastic. And so what I do is I transfer them into other containers. So this is just a really fun milk jug. And it's got a lid. It's just a twist off lid. So what I do is when we get milk, I pour it in here. So I will pour it in here. And then what I'll do is I will take a marker, and it's just an expo marker, and I'll write the date on this. And as we get low, I just refill it up. And that's what I do when I get a milk jug. Now, say this is the last of the milk jug, right? I do not take a new milk jug and add it to this. We wait till this is all done. I wash it really good, and then we'll do milk. So I don't ever do one milk jug and another milk jug and mix it together. So this is out of one milk jug. Hopefully that makes sense. So I just label it. It stays on there fine. I mean, yeah, if you rub on it, it's gonna come off, but I put it in an area where you're really not going to touch it. So I know you guys asked me about these. You guys have seen them on other videos or on my post. Also, you guys have asked me, where to get them. So we are working, Sweet Pickens is working on bringing them into our retail location in Sparks at the Painted Tree into our space. So if you guys do love these, look out for them. When they do arrive, I will let you guys know when I'm taking them down there. They also can be shipped. I'm always leery about shipping glass. But anyway, so that is a little story on that. So this is the milk. So milk, vanilla, powdered sugar. Now, let's be totally honest here. I don't know the measurements. There's like no measurements. I just do it by feel. So I'm gonna teach you guys the feel method. I don't know. I mean, I'm actually using a cup, so I'm gonna tell you how much I put in here. But the one thing you can do is you can always, if it's too runny, you can always add to it. So this is a cup. Let's start with a cup. When you do a drizzle, you don't need a lot because you're literally just drizzling, you know, over the top of this. That's it. It's a drizzle. So I'm going to start with a cup. And then what I like to do is a splash of vanilla. So what I would say is that's probably a half of a teaspoon. And then we're going to add milk. Now, the one thing I can caution you about, little goes a long way. So what you're going to want to do with the milk is you're going to want to start this and then add the milk. So you saw I added just a little milk. You'll be really surprised. You don't need as much as you think you need. So what I like to do is start this. You can still see it's really powdery, but it's starting to come together. And then I'll just add a tiny bit of milk. And I like to use a whisk for this because you really can get in there and it breaks down any clumps that you may have in that powdered sugar. Georgie, that's no one at the door, it's me. I put Georgie away while we did the videos. Or he'd be up here saying, cake, can I have some cake? Okay, so I did a little bit, and that is enough. So you guys can see it. And I'm going to show you this. This is what you want. So it's thick, but it still moves. See that? So that's why I say, I mean, I know it's really bad, but that's just how it's more feel than anything. If you do not want a tan look to yours, the one time you wouldn't want a tan look is probably if you're doing vanilla or a butter pecan cake. Because it's going to maybe look off when you have the white cake and tan frosting. It's not really tan, but it definitely has that look to it. It's not super white. And what makes that is the vanilla. So if you want a really clean white drizzle, use clear vanilla. Tastes the same, works the same. It's just, you just can't see the brown. So this is so you guys know I have hella sugar, so I use a lot of baking items, you know, piping bags, piping tips, all the things. So I wanted to make this to where you guys can relate to this because not everyone has piping bags. So here's a baggie, a sandwich baggie. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, now watch guys, when I pour this in, you can see it's thick. So see that? I'm tipping it and it's coming. But that's the consistency that you're gonna want. So I'm gonna put this in a baggie. This is just an easy way because not everyone has piping bags or piping tips, and I don't want to see you have to go buy something for a cake. Even if you make more bundt cakes or drizzle cakes or a cake that you want to do a drizzle on, you could just use the baggie method. Now, if you're piping cupcakes and stuff like I do, you really definitely need piping bags and a piping tip. So we don't want to waste any of this. So let's get as much out as possible. Okay. All right, we'll set this aside. So you can see it here. So now we're just going to close it. And when I close it, I'm going to get all the air out. So here it is. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take everything to one end. See it? So one end. So what we're gonna do is we're going to gotta cut this small. You've gotta cut this really, really small. You think that you need it bigger, but you don't want it bigger. So it's just cut at one end. So now this is where it happens. It's just a drizzle. So just make sure you have the end that's open. Get it in your hands, kind of get it all down, kind of push it, because once you tip this, it's gonna go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and we're gonna do that until all this is gone. So remember, we start out with a cup of powdered sugar. Okay, so hold it and be ready because it's coming. And when you do it small, a small cut in your baggie, you're gonna get small lines. And that's what you want. You don't want it to come, and you don't want to put a lot of pressure onto the baggie because you don't want it to bust. And what I like to do now, if you do want these bigger, you can. I'm just gonna go over and over and over. And honestly, this is so pretty this way. So while I'm doing this, let's talk about toppings. Especially like a strawberry cake, you definitely, or even a lemon cake. Let's talk about the strawberry. So you can add fresh strawberries to the top of this. I think that would be so delicious. Another thing you can do is you can add, possibly do a drizzle of chocolate, or you can just do a little bit of fudge, over the top, drizzling it like this. So you don't have to do this drizzle. You could do something like that. Okay, see, this is where you got to really hold it. I'm trying to do it with one hand. Just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And just do a drizzle. So add strawberries, but you could do other things. You could do other things. Like, for example, if you do a lemon, you could do a lemon drizzle and add blueberries. Wouldn't that be yummy? To add fresh blueberries to the top. You can even do strawberries on your lemon cake. So there's lots of options that you can do as far as that goes. If you're doing this for a birthday party, you could absolutely add sprinkles to this. You could also add little decorations to this. So this drizzle it's thin, it's not gonna be heavy, and what's gonna happen is it's gonna go into the cake, and it's really going to add another level of moistness to your cake. If I did a butter pecan cake, which I like to do the butter pecan, that's ordered pretty often. And again, remember, I don't really do cakes. But as far if I do a cake, it's more of a bundt cake like this. I will add pecans to the top. So, and then you could do a cute little, happy birthday sign. But I'm going to hold this up. Look at how pretty this is. It's so decadent, so pretty. Now, what the key is you're going to let this sit and I don't want to say harden because that's not the right word, but just let it sit before you cover it. And then what I like to do is when I do cover this, because this pan does not have a lid, I like to take my tin foil and make a tent over the top and attach it to the sides here so it never touches it. But you're gonna wanna just let this sit for a little bit, let it set up, and it is gonna set up really well, but isn't this pretty? It's just such a simple technique. So get out your grandma's recipe and make a cake, whatever cake it is. This is really good. You could do this for angel food cake, 7-Up cake. There's so many cakes. Chocolate cake. This drizzle is delicious over a chocolate cake or a chocolate pound cake or a chocolate bundt cake. And then you add little mini chocolate chips. You add crushed up Oreos on the top. How yummy. So this is just, a canvas. Just go at it and have fun. This would be excellent. I just bought some fresh strawberries too to put some strawberries on the top of this. That would be perfect. Or because it is a bundt cake, you have the middle. So you could add some fresh strawberries in right in the middle. How pretty is that? So guys, it's really simple. Don't overthink these kind of things, but you would be so proud to take something like this to a friend's house, a Bible study, your coworkers. It would just be a fun little treat. So remember the link or the recipe to the strawberry cake will be down below. But this technique, I just wanted to show you this technique and how easy it is. And you saw how fast we did it. So, all right, guys, well, thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. We would love that. It really means a lot because it kind of keeps the algorithm going. And also, if there's someone that you think that would like this, go ahead and pass this along. Don't forget, we have a brick and mortar here in Sparks. We are inside painted tree. We're space W1, back left corner, big chandelier, and country music playing all the time. Also, we have a website, shopsweetpickens.com, and you can find us on Instagram and Facebook where we do stories and all sorts of things every day, several times a day. You just have to type in Sweet Pickens Reno, Pickins Reno. You'll find us there, Instagram and Facebook, and we would love it if you would follow along. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and you will see some other videos coming up on the channel here very soon. Thanks, guys.